Then a couple of years ago, there was a ludicrous proposal put before the American people of a Wall Street bailout. Like many of you in this room, I was, as an actuary and economist, I was flabbergasted that this would even be an issue. I, called my friends and acquaintances. I wrote to my congressmen and senators. Many of my friends and acquaintances wrote to their congressmen and senators, but it obviously wasn't enough. And I watched, basically with the rest of you, as those who were supposed to represent our interests instead rewarded dishonesty and incompetence with about $1 trillion. Now, our military budget is about $500 billion. The total amount that people spend per year on college tuition is about the same. The bailout was enough to cover both. It was enough to pay every college student's yearly college tuition twice over. And then I thought about what my parents didn't buy, basically, in order to send me and my younger sister to college. I thought about the new cars they never bought. I thought about the fancy dinners they never had. I thought about the vacations they didn't take. I thought about the designer clothes they certainly never even thought about. And then I think about the multi-million-dollar bonuses that the Democrats and Republicans essentially handed to Wall Street. And that basically is why I'm here right now. I mean, the kind of government that we have been told by the other two parties simply to accept is just not acceptable. I mean, it may be the way things are, as the other two parties love to point out, but it's really just not the way things have to be. I mean, our government has become like this over decades, and it's going to take decades to reverse. I mean, it happened by inches, and it's going to get reversed by inches and millimeters, a percent at a time. But it's going to happen. And in fact, those of you in this room know it's already started happening. Mm-hmm. Like, libertarians and independents already hold hundreds of elected offices.
Who's easier to convert? Is it Democrats or Republicans? Or is...
we usually spend a lot of time talking to Republicans because we're so close on so many issues. But on the emotional issues, where there's no real fact of the matter, I mean, a lot of libertarians are pro-choice, and there's not a fact there. I mean, that's really an emotional thing. We're on the same side as the Democrats. And in the other areas where we disagree, I think there is a fact. I mean, it is a fact that maybe people don't understand. But if the government issues a bunch of debt, and then the Fed dumps a bunch of money into the system, that devalues the currency, and it's sort of a de facto tax on everybody. I mean, that's like a fact. There's no room for disagreement on that. So I think that really a lot of our sort of force should be on getting people from actually the Democrat Party who agrees with us emotionally and not on the don't understand some of the subtleties of the economic
Doug
issues.
and I are planning to.
When you look at people who go to McDonald's, people love going to McDonald's, but then when they find something that's better than McDonald's, they don't really go back to McDonald's. I mean, there's no one who becomes a libertarian and it was like, oh no, I just realized all of a sudden that pointless wars and excessive spending are the right thing to do. I mean, this is a one-way thing, and every person we gain stays with us.
So we're Panera. Right?
Yeah, or even better. I mean, I think it's
Chipotle.
maybe Chipotle.
Good, thanks.